was getting made fun of real bad. The kids are brutal, and I wanted to shut them up, and I was only a little kid, so my grandfather taught me how to throw a right cross, and pivot the right way, and once I learned that, boom, I was just knocking kids out in like 4th grade.
What's up, everybody? Talking Trash Podcast here in the studio with Mr. D.H. Diamond Hands, episode 24. That's an easy one, right?
24. It's all got to be Bob Probert.
That was easy. We didn't even have to discuss that. Episode 24.
Hey, for all the kids out there, you got to know it's the same rules. Number 99, you don't wear number 24.
Yeah, or it definitely
especially if you're if you want to be a tough guy, you don't wear number 24.
I definitely agree. 24 should be kind of a unspoken thing. Who can wear it, if at all? So, guys, make sure you guys like, subscribe, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Big shout out to our sponsors, BioSteel, supporting us, Club 93, 310 Republic. And we have in studio today a special guest, the number 5 ranked heavyweight in bare knuckle fighting championships, BKFC, our man, the Shark Attack, Zach Calmus. What's going on, big dog?
Hey, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on the show. It's an honor.
Well, Zach, we've
happy to have you.
We're gonna get into kind of how we've all connected here, man. And I've known you for some years now, and you know, Zach, we always talk about, you know, me and Amesy, how we've connected, and you know, and you being a Northeast guy, being from Massachusetts and stuff. I know you were aware of the Trashers back in the day, and we always talk about, you know, what is a trasher, right? Like we've been creating this adjective of what a trasher is. It's not just a hockey player, right? It's an underdog. It's a bad boy. And one thing I know, when the documentary came out, you were such a fan of the doc. I mean, you were one of the first people I remember reaching out to me, and it kind of really connected us. Like, what, like when you think of the Trashers, the story of the Trashers, or just what the word means, like how did it, like, why did you connect with it so much?
It's more than hockey. It's more along the lines of family. It really drew me in the sense of just how the guys were there for each other, and that, you know, they looked out for each other, and those are kind of the same morals and qualities that I look for in everybody in my life, whether it be a gardener or it's a plumber or a best friend. They need to share that same quality, and I think that's what I took from the documentary most, is that they were a family.
Well, you're right, and it's kind of like, you know, when I talked to Ames, when I met Ames, you know, back in early 2022, like, I feel like we've had that connection since. You know, it's a family thing. It's guys like us. It doesn't, you know, I always tell people it's not where you're raised, it's how you're raised, right? It doesn't matter where you come from, it's what you're made of, and that's always what I've taken from the Trasher story. Is it seems to connect with so many tough guys, right? Not just tough physically, but mentally. Guys that are like kind of, you know, scapegoats or underappreciated, you know, underdogs, really. And that's something. And I think, you know, you got to look at the camera. You got to show the people how much the Trashers mean to you. Check out this tattoo, people. So, this is.
I have a Trashers tattoo right here on my neck. Let's go. I asked AJ for permission to get this tattoo because I just feel like I embody the spirit of the Trashers. And I'm a very bad boy, and I'll pretty much do whatever I have to do to win. And when they were talking about rooting for the bad guys, I could completely relate to that too, because somebody has to.
Yeah, well, listen, it's funny, Amesy, when you sent me, I remember, you know, Zach reached out to me.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, I'm going to get a Trasher tattoo. And I've seen people get Trasher tattoos on their arms or, you know, stuff like that. And I said, and he asked me almost for permission. I'm like, Zach, you don't need my permission, bro. That means that's humbling. I wanted to like pay for the tattoo for him. I'm like, man, that's humbling that someone like you would want that on your neck. Well, that's what he said, is I'm going to put it on my neck. I said, no way. I thought he was kind of playing with me a little bit. And then he showed me a picture. He goes, "Lo, check it out.
Yeah.
Fresh ink." And it was fresh. And I thought, you know.
It hurt pretty good. I mean, it's holding me down there.
How long did that take you, by the way?
Not that long. Max, my friend Max Hill, I went to preschool with him. It's actually called the Lamb's Den.
Okay, shout out to the Lamb's Den. Where in Mass is that? Is that Mass?
It's in Marblehead, Mass.
Okay.
And, We graduated high school 09 together, but he's a great tattoo artist, award-winning tattoo artist. He did a great job. You know?
He definitely killed it. And it's funny because, you know, this day and age with AI, right? I think he's trolling me. He sends me the picture.
Yeah,
like, what do you think?
Because he showed us at the gym the other day, and you didn't even know. You're like, wait, what? That's real? That was hilarious.
I swear.
One thing about me, I hate computers and I can't stand technology.
So I'm thinking he's playing with me. You know what I mean? Like joking with me. Yeah, I got the tattoo, and he showed me a picture. I'm like, oh, that's great, Zach. So I was playing with him back, thinking he's messing with me. So and then when I saw it the other day at the gym, you know, you two were sparring. You both got fights coming up, which we'll get into. I could not believe. So it is an honor that one of the top fighters in BKFC, okay, wearing the trashes permanently on his neck, man. Before we get into that, Zach, a lot of people may not know this about you. You're a hockey guy in a way, right? Did you play a little hockey growing up?
I love hockey. So I grew up in Marblehead, Massachusetts, and now I live in Gloucester, Massachusetts. And both cities have great hockey programs. I was blessed enough to play in Marblehead, and I went to private school for a couple years and played at the New England Sports Center for Hillside School, Marlboro, and I ended up playing goaltender for about 3 years. Now, I didn't make varsity because I was very badly behaved, and they didn't think I could pull my weight on that squad.
So you play goalie?
Yeah, I'm a goaltender. I still
see. This kind of goes back to our thoughts about goalie. You know, let's be honest. We're all a little tweaked, right? Goalies seem to be really, goalies have the reputation of being a little out there. So
this makes goalie.
We only seen the interview goalies. So maybe that's our niche, bro. It seems like goalies only want to mess with us. So
maybe because we're a little bit off.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you know.
I used to like to trip people when they'd get by me, fall against the backboards. And then I'd start a fight as a goaltender.
Yeah.
The only problem with that is we only had like 8 kids on our rinky-dinky junior squads.
Yeah, you need a backup goalie.
Yeah, we didn't have that. So I didn't get ejected really either. So.
Well, listen, you know, we are in the thick, you know, the Stanley Cup Finals. Oh, by the way, Amesy, did you like my jersey? Anyway, everyone, I was getting...
That's your rebuttal,
So, Zach, basically, if you haven't followed, about 2 weeks ago, the Oilers were in a battle in the playoffs against the Vancouver Canucks. Connor McDavid, best player in the world at this point, you know, arguably. I have my own opinion, but whatever. He got messed around, and I thought the Oilers didn't show enough, you know, like if something happened to one of us, I know the other two's jumping in, right? And I didn't like how no one defended Connor McDavid. So I put out a video on the Trasher Instagram saying Oilers were done. They got their heart snatched from them, and that's it. Sure enough, they go on to win the series. They go on to win the Western Conference Finals, and now they're in the finals. So everyone's been so big shout out though to my
George
boy,
Laraque.
Big Georges Laraque.
Let's go! What a beast, dude.
Okay,
that's a dangerous man.
That friend of the show, friend of ours. Big shout out to Big George. He sent this to me right after the doc came out in 2021. So I had to put this on. All right, I'm not saying who I'm rooting for in the finals. It's Florida's got some dogs on their team.
Listen, like I'm gonna be honest. Like Florida, obviously, I feel like heavy favorite. I would say heavy favorite. But man, like when McDavid is on, like it's one of those things. Like you can't say like I can't say that Florida's gonna like clean up Edmonton because I have a pretty good feeling that McDavid's gonna bring it like he's never brought it, and it's gonna be a good series.
There's a lot of crazy storylines, right? One is McDavid, for most of people that watch hockey, is the best player in the world, okay? It's like Michael Jordan, right? So the storyline is he finally going to get over the hump?
Yeah.
Because you know how hard it is to get to the Stanley Cup, okay? It's not like an every year given thing.
Of course.
Who knows? If this is the only time he has I mean, for as good as he is, it takes more than one guy. We don't know if he's ever going to get back there. So it's like, is this where he gets over the hump and solidified, or is Edmonton going to choke? I don't know. The thing is, you and I have talked about it. Momentum. Edmonton seems to have faced more adversity in this playoffs, I feel like.
And they're hitting their stride.
And I feel like, just like, I feel like they got so much momentum. There's a lot of pressure. And the same thing, Florida comes and they got a lot of experience.
There's a little bit of history between like a couple of the Florida boy, Kachuk.
Yes.
Kachuk and Edmonton. Kachuk's been, he obviously played for Calgary. Sam Bennett, same thing. They have a little bit of history, those two, with Edmonton. So I think it's going to be fun to watch.
I tell you, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Listen, screw it, man. What's your prediction? What are you thinking, man? I'm gonna go I am going to go with Edmonton in 6. And I'm saying that, because Connor McDavid has to win this. Because as good as he is, as likable as he is, all right, I don't care what anybody says, there's going to be questions about him if they blow this cup finals, okay? Plus, I already got enough heat for going against Edmonton. Shout out to our boy Nick, Evil Empire. I don't want to go back to Edmonton one day and face my guys out there. Yeah. So I'm going with Edmonton in 6 because then next year it's going to start a whole new storyline. Florida just lost 2 in a row now. And now the heat's going to go down. So I think we got some weird stuff going on. I think
it's going 7. It's got to go 7.
All right.
It's got to be. I hope it's Edmonton. I want it to be Edmonton. I want to see Edmonton win it.
So you did something my dad would do. You want, but who do you think? Who do you think's winning this?
Don't bet with your heart.
I think it's Florida in 7.
All right. And what do you, Zach?
But I want it to be Edmonton, I'm telling you.
But you're going against the grain now. It's double time. No way. I say Edmonton in 6, and here's why. You can do whatever you want all season. You can follow trends. You can follow player trends. You can follow team trends. What really matters is what team shows up that day.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're 2 caliber teams, top caliber, best teams in the NHL. Whatever team shows up that day, ready to win.
Yeah,
that's the team that's going to win.
Well, you're right, Zach, and I got to tell you, it's almost like Ames. Is this finals? You know what makes this final so intriguing is it's just like a fight, right? When you have storylines involved, it's one thing you have 2 teams, you know, maybe there's no history. A lot of times with Stanley Cup finals, there isn't a history. But like you said, Chuck's got some history. There are so many storylines with this Stanley Cup final, which means this might be the best Stanley Cup in a long time. It's just like fights. When you got 2 guys where there's a history there, people are more intrigued, you know what I mean? So it's going to be McDavid has to win. Yeah. He has to win because as much as he's liked, as much as he's loved,
it's like,
as much as he's loved.
It's like Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. It's a knockout punch.
Yeah. That's what I'm telling you, and I like Connor McDavid. Do I think Nathan McKinnon might have an edge? That's just me. But I'm saying,
wow.
Connor
That's crazy.
McDavid.
That's another hot take, I feel
yes, like. Connor McDavid has to win.
You know what? Yeah, Oilers in 7. You're right. It's Oilers in 7.
All right, final answer. So we're all 3 of us.
It's going 7 though.
Okay, so we got me and the Shark Attack going Oilers in 6. You're going Oilers in 7. So we got some unity here. But McDavid has to win.
Just thinking about McDavid and thinking about like
he knows
what's going on in his head right now. He's going to the finals, dude.
Don't you switch again?
No, yeah.
No, that again. We have it on record here. All 3 of us going Oil Town. All right. Big shout out to our people out there. It's gonna be a good
series. I'll tell you that.
I'll tell you what. It's the most excited I've been for a Stanley Cup in a while because of the storyline.
This is the most hockey I've watched in
I've got
I think my whole life.
I honestly think
I can honestly, I honestly say I think this is the most playoff hockey I've watched.
I told them
in my life. Maybe I may have watched more playoff hockey when I was a kid when I'd be sitting with my dad.
Yeah,
you know, like I just didn't have much going on, but I've been prioritizing games. It's been so nice. Like, right now I'm sweating. What am I supposed to do for 4 days?
Yeah.
How am I gonna wait? Like we gotta wait. You're gonna give people. It's like you're feeding us this whole time. You get a game every day. You get a game every day, and then you're gonna make us sweat for 4 days.
Well, you just hit it on the head. As a kid, it was different. You didn't have as many options. If Dad had the game on, you're watching the game. You didn't have a phone. You didn't have anything else.
It's the classic. But hey, Dad, who we cheering for? He's like, well, I don't really care for either team. Well, who's closer? And then he's got to think for 20 minutes. Well, it's like Boston
they
and
just put a commercial on at the best
Florida
part of the movie.
Yeah.
Now a commercial break. It's like, oh.
Well, I used to always ask my dad, who's closer? And he'd be like, I don't know. It's like Boston and Toronto. They're both pretty similar. I don't know. He's like crunching them. Now you just Google it, you know?
It's definitely going to be, like, I agree with you. It's definitely going to be, and by the time this episode airs, I believe the game 1 will be over. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a lot of fun, but let's get to our guest of honor here, the Shark Attack.
Shark Attack,
Zach Calmus. Zach, I was telling Ames, a while back about how we met, and obviously, well, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, growing up a little bit? When did the fight game get into your blood, man?
The fight game was always in my blood. I was born with it. My grandfather, he had big hands. My grandfather, he served in World War II, and he immigrated here from Greece when he was in the 3rd grade. We dropped out of 3rd grade and Great Depression, whatever. But my point is that my family is really good at fist fighting. My my grandfather, his dad, my uncle, and kind of like his brother, George, who lived in Alaska. He was like a bear of a man, and he just loved to fist fight. So there's a lot of stories in my family of just like fights that went down at restaurants and bars. Where
allegedly, by the way.
Guys did full backflips when my uncle hit them. And guys did full 360s when they got hit with left hooks and stuff. So I tend to believe it, you know, now the way that I'm built and the way that I fight. You know, I really do like it.
It's true. And Ames, I think you could say it too. I mean, a fighter, like I said, whether you're physically doing it or mentally, you know, every day's a fight, really. Even mentally, I mean, it's just in blood, right? It's in your blood sometimes. I really believe that fight inside of you is just not something you just learn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially when people that you look up to tell you stories growing up. Yeah. That was a huge thing. I don't know if my dad intended on that, but he would tell me these stories about him and his buddies fighting. And you know, when they grew up in a pretty tough, like East Vancouver, it was like known for, it was like outsiders, you know, like all the stories he'd tell me. And, you know, inevitably, it made me just want to fight, you know. And I don't think that's where he wanted it to go, but, I mean, he obviously, you know.
It's
whatever.
so true.
But it was just put inside me at such a young age, and I just love you, just like you, Zach. I love it. We were beating the shit out of each other the other day.
Taught me how to throw a right cross the right way. And then, like, these kids were bullying me at school real bad because I was fat, curly-headed, and I have titties. And I was getting made fun of real bad. The kids are brutal, and I wanted to shut them up, and I was only a little kid, so my grandfather taught me how to throw a right cross and pivot the right way. And once I learned that, boom, I was just knocking kids out in like 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade.
Nice.
I actually got kicked out of middle school because of it. I went to 3 private schools. I graduated one. It was for all boys, Hillside School. I graduated that. Then I got kicked out of 2 schools in a row, came back and graduated. But I've just kind of I've always been good at fist fighting. No matter what, like if a fight goes down and they start swinging, I'm usually going to come out on top. And I say go with your strengths in life. So, you know, I knew I wasn't that smart, so I figured I might as well go and be tough. That's kind of what I'm doing.
Do you remember, like, when you were in school, did you ever have, like, a fight where it was like, hey, me and you after school, and the whole school knew about it?
Yeah,
and you had to go out and meet
day.
this guy. Okay, so like, you know, when you're coming into a fight, obviously there's a little bit of nerves. You have a fight coming. I've still never felt the nerves that I used to get when I knew I was fighting some kid after school and the whole school knew. I swear, and I don't know what it was, but like even when I'm fighting in, like when I fought in Ice Wars, I fought boxing, like all these things, I have never felt the nerves that I felt when I was in high school and I knew the whole school was showing up and I'm squaring up with someone because it was like the social aspect of it. If I lose this fight.
But that's the streets too, the ego and the social aspect.
Yeah.
When we're fighting professionally, we're fighting with the rules and with a sanctioning body, so it takes a lot of that street. It takes a lot of that street mindset out of it. The problem is that fighters in general who are fighting at Foxwoods and Mohegan and all over the world, and Scope Arena in Virginia, they have gotten too civilized.
Yeah.
To the point where they're soft.
Yeah.
They're so used to taking pictures and doing interviews that, bro, when a real fighter gets in their face and bashes them in the jaw and then cleans their ball sack as hard as they can, they know they can get away with it, and then grabs their friggin' ear and he's telling them, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. That's the difference between me and them.
Yeah.
Is that I'm trying to kill that motherfucker. Yeah. And I'll tell him, I'm going to really hurt you, bro.
Well, I tell
you only got a little bit left. You're breathing heavy. I talk shit. That's what I'm talking shit.
Psychological warfare.
Listen, Zach, you've probably heard this.
Ass, you know what I mean?
we have a motto, and it's not like, you know, at the gym. It's not like it's some original thing. I've heard it over and over. I'm a firm believer in will beat skill. Right? Yeah. I'm a firm believer in that. I'm a firm believer in. I'd rather take. I mean, it's all these sayings. It's like, you know. The wolf on the hill isn't as hungry as the wolf climbing it, right? You know what I mean? It's like there's just like a real fighter is always hungry, right? And you just hit it on the head. A lot of these fighters, after a while, you start making some money. You don't have to get up as early to run, right? You don't have to do these things. And it's tough, man. It's
civilized.
But you know, it's funny. You said something just now before when you said you were getting bullied a little bit in school growing up. Someone asked me recently about Champs Boxing Club, and they said, what are the type of kids that come to the gym? You know what I mean? And I say, I'm willing to put a number that 90% of all boxers, professional, amateur, just starting out, walking to the gym because they're either bullied or they have a self-conscious, they're self-conscious, they have issues. And I tell people, so many kids that come to the gym don't, not just, maybe financially they don't have it, or some do, but they're missing something. And it's a lot of people being bullied. And the mental aspect, like how much boxing has helped kids. Oh, yeah. I know it's helped you.
Oh, yeah, big time. I don't think I'd be here on this earth with you guys if I didn't find something that I like doing so much that I could commit my entire life to it, have a reason to wake up every day. I would have no reason to wake up if I didn't have boxing, so I found something in life that truly made me happy. And I know a lot of guys who never find anything at all that makes them passionate.
Well, you're passionate about it. Like, we can tell, like, the way you show up to the gym, like me and you got to train. I got to train with you the other day.
It made my whole entire day.
And it was so much fun.
Happy,
I mean, I think like anybody that knows me or that, like, we like to fight. Like, we're not like, we're not trying to dance around and play game. Like, we're trying to, like, bang it out. And, like, you'll have Coach Dave telling, like, hey, easy, Cowboys. Like, we're trying to get better here. We're not just beating the crap out of each other. And the last minute, me and Zach just going heavy. I think Zach threw 15 right hands in a row.
We looked at each
just 15 right. She just kept going.
It was awesome.
Good. And I'm just trying to duck him and come back. Oh, it's so fun.
We were laughing. And
loving it.
I always tell people when we had the Trashers, right? And, back in those days, there's a lot of tough guys in hockey. But our goal, and we've talked about this before, is, our goal was to find the 1% that truly enjoyed fighting. And there's not that many. You see a lot of guys fight, and they don't really like it. I mean,
gets them a job,
you know what I mean?
They're good at it.
To say they do it in front of people to look good or look cool, or maybe get that girl.
Or in hockey, it just gets you on the team.
Gets you on the team.
A lot of people are doing it in hockey to get on the team.
Realize you don't keep those things. You will not keep that girl. You will not keep that job if you're only fighting to get those things.
Yeah, it's true. It's so true. And that's why I always say you two especially are Trashers, because there are people, and people think it's crazy, but there's people that like to fight because it's a challenge. It's something inside of you that people can't.
I bite my hands and I punch my head, and I love to fight.
What was your first boxing gym, Zach, you went to?
Delaya's Boxing. I was like 15 years old in Peabody, Massachusetts, and I just wanted to lose some weight. I was really fat, and I was 15, and I lost like 50, 60 pounds. I was 15, 16, 17 came around. And I wanted to have a fight. My mom wouldn't sign the waiver. She wouldn't do it. I met my first girlfriend at the boxing gym ever. And this girl, she went on and made a family and got married. And anyway, her like husband's best friend walked up to me at the bar like last weekend. I was out with Blake, and he's like, "Hey man, we all watched your fight. I'm so-and-so's husband's best friend." I'm like, whoa, that's a name from the past. My first, girl. You did great, man. We're all really proud of you. I don't even know this guy, but it felt a certain level of special to know that the people of my past even have. So if this girl saw my fight and her husband watched my fight and her husband's best friend is congratulating me, then I really have come somewhere. I really have made it somewhere. That means that everybody, every single person that I know when I grew up, I went to all these schools with, they all watched the fight. Yeah. My family for sure saw it. And even if they don't tell me good job, I know that they're happy for me.
Yeah.
Now, I met Zach, Ames, and we talked about this. I met you, Zach. Obviously, when I started Champs Boxing Club in Danbury, pretty much one of our first amateurs, probably our first high-level amateur, who's now 8-0 as a pro, Fernelli Feliz Jr. I remember Western New England Golden Gloves, right? And I remember, this had to be 2016, 2017 maybe, and Fernelli ends up going either the finals or the semifinals of the Western New England Golden Gloves, Springfield, Mass, the Mass Mutual Center, right?
Yeah,
I think it was.
He was.
And
so
I remember I'm looking at the bracket, and I see that he's fighting Zach Calmus. And I'm like, who the hell's Zach? I didn't know who Zach was. So I'm like, Fernelli, as we all know, is so talented, right? I mean, as a pro, but even as an amateur, and he wasn't even trying sometimes when he first started. He was just so good. And I just was like, I figured just another easy victory for Fernelli, you know what I mean? So there was a huge ice storm, snowstorm, and they didn't call the event off. They're like, no, you got to show or you're disqualified. So I'm like, all right, this is perfect. We'll go. we're not too far from Springfield, and there's no way this Zach Calmus kid's going to show up. You know, he probably doesn't even want to fight Fernelli, and it could be perfect blue skies out. Yeah. We get there, and Zach was already there, weighed in. And I'm like, all right. It's like, this kid is for real. Because he drove, you were driving from where, Zach?
Gloucester.
How long is the drive to Springfield?
Oh, only like 2 hours. But with the ice.
But that ice, it
took me like 3, you know, because my wife was like, we were like skidding all over the road. And she was like, Dave, why would you make me do this? Why would you, like, why? Does it really matter? It's just an amateur boxing match. I'm like, no, it's not. This is a big fight. So it was, you know what I mean? It was a great opponent, and I just wanted an opportunity to fight him.
So we get there, and the minute I saw the minute we got there, and I saw him there already, I knew it was going to be a dog fight. I told Fernelli Jr., and Fernelli Jr. is very humble, but he also knows how good he is, you know? Yeah. And I told him, okay, I'm like, listen, this isn't one of these kids that's coming here playing this, you know, and you're older than Fernelli. I'm like, this kid's for real. He showed up before us, and I knew, and Fernelli, we all know how good he is, but, you know, he won the fight, Fernelli, thank God for us, but I remember the impression you made on me, and we had never even talked. He, as good as Fernelli was, he could not hurt you. I mean, Fernelli at the time, years ago, was just used to jabbing someone and then
me though, left and right, combinations and punches and bunches.
But you're like a fist, like a fist away.
But I'm telling you, you know, one thing I thought was crazy was that Zach just and I never even met the kid. He just kept coming. Kept coming. I'm like, this kid is going to do something. I said, this kid is going to do something. Yeah. And Fernelli won the fight, and he came in the back. He's like, man, that kid just wouldn't go down. I said, good, because that's your first lesson in this fight game, man, that not every guy is just going to lay down. Yeah. You're going to deal with dogs like Zach.
You can hit Zach with a baseball bat.
Guys like Zach, like, listen, if you guys are involved with combat sports, you're thinking about getting it. Guys like Zach, when you see him, that's your worst nightmare, bro. Because he's usually a guy. Look at that face too, man. Show him your teeth. There you go.
The pain inside. It's all in there. You understand?
How many teeth you lost, man?
3 or 4.
Let me look. Hey, you look nice, man. I like it. You do look. He's a hockey. He's a trasher, man. I'm telling you.
I just like it a lot. I don't want to fix him.
Nah, it gives you character, man. I like it.
Well, you don't fix them till you're done.
Yeah. I look at somebody and they want to fight, and I just they don't really want to fight much longer.
When'd you lose your teeth?
Oh, I lost them last year in a fight.
Yeah,
bare knuckle.
Couple fights.
So we'll get
in
this
Scope Arena. I lost this big fang, one in the front, the right, and the other one two were Bobo Bannon. So this one was Alabama and Virginia.
So basically, we have the fight, and I feel like it really opened Fernelli's eyes, and you know, you need, as a fighter, and even in any sport, you need these lessons along the line. Of course, and Zach was a major lesson for Fernelli, and I just remember saying, I don't know where I'll ever see this kid again, but he's gonna do something pro. Yeah. Sure enough, I remember Omar Bordoy, the Beast, another pro, fighting up in New Hampshire. Shout out Chris Trieti, our boy. You fought on that show, I believe.
Chris Trieti, yes, I did.
So one day I'm sitting there, and here comes this monster. I'm like, that's the freaking kid. It's like, that's the kid from Springfield that came in the ice storm, got there before us. And there he is. And he comes in, and what I love about you, Zach, is what people may not know, and I hope you don't take offense to this, you are one of the nicest people I've ever met. And I always tell people,
very nice.
The people that are the nice guys are really the ones you got to watch. I mean, all the guys that always try to, they're doing way too much. Zach, you meet Zach, and you know, he's the most polite, like, well-respected men, and you know when it's time to turn it on, man.
I'm a big kid.
Yeah.
I think we're all
big kids.
Big kids. Yeah.
I'm a big boy.
But I tell people, so I see him in North, I'm like, yo, I think that's the kid that fought Fernelli. And sure enough, it was. Same thing. You go in the ring, and the thing is, this is like the worst guy you want to fight, man. Because even if he loses, he wins. Yeah. Because you cannot, I mean, with a shovel, it's hard to hurt you.
Yeah, it's happened.
I mean, it's happened.
It with my cousin. He's a little bit stupid, and he hit me with a shovel when we were like shoveling, throwing in snow in Newton, and he hit me twice. And I wanted him to stop, but he wouldn't. So I grabbed it and I blasted him against the front of my grandma's door. Like I hit him like 60 times.
How old were you?
I was like 11.
Yeah, let's go.
But basically, what I'm trying to say is, Zach, is you're a guy. And people don't understand the fight game. You know, it took me a long time to really learn it. I've been involved now almost 14 years, and I'm telling you, like, if you're bringing up a prospect, right, like a boxing, and you see a guy like you who may not have a sparkling 50-0 record, right? You think, oh, Zach Calmus, yeah, we'll fight him. Dude, if you do not do your research on your opponents, especially at the early ages, you're done. Yeah. And this man right here is not somebody that you want to. So tell us a little bit when and how you transitioned to BKFC, because it's obviously it's the hottest combat sport out right now. It's growing leaps and bounds. And I'm going to keep it very real. When it first came out, I wasn't as interested just because I deal with combat sports all day. I really wasn't that interested. But I didn't know, you know, Ames, we talk about how soft society's gone. I was like, man, bare knuckle fighting, how long can this last? And sure enough, it is the fastest growing combat sport. It is literally everywhere. Yeah. And sure enough, I'm one day, shout out to our boy Jeff Esposito at the gym. He goes, did you hear Zach is fighting at BKFC? I was like, what? I was like, I knew from day one this kid is, and here you are now, the number 5 ranked heavyweight in BKFC in the world, man. When did you get started? Like, when did that first come about? How did you get involved with BKFC?
What happened was I had that pro boxing debut with Mr. Chris Trietti up in New Hampshire at the sports complex. And then after that, I decided, I saw on Instagram, they posted a tryout in Tampa. So when they posted the tryout in Tampa, I was working for Hiltz Moving Company at the time, and I only had like a few dollars. I only had like $800 in my checking. And everybody was against it. Like my father, my wife, any of my friends that I talked to at the time, and I don't anymore.
Especially at the start, because
they just were like, this is savage, man. You're going to get really hurt. Like, you know, the world's really crazy right now with the COVID-19. I don't think you should go do this. And the minute that everybody told me that they didn't think I should do it is when I booked my ticket. Yeah.
That's a diamond hands move and a trash move all in one.
I knew it was for me. I knew I'm a bad boy. I'm a very bad boy.
Allegedly.
I've got 2 felonies, and I just
allegedly.
Like fresh out of strikes. So like I went to the tryout, and I walked in, and there's like a bunch of killers there, and like I figured it's bare knuckle. What's going to set me apart from the other killers in the room? So I tried to start fighting people. You know what I mean?
At the trial?
Yeah.
Jeez.
They put the cameras on, so I was like, fuck you, and fuck your mother.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll fight all you motherfuckers. And they're like, no, calm down. We're not going to do it like this. I'm like, no, for real. You.
And the thing is, I don't mean to interrupt.
I was trying to chirp, you know what I mean? I didn't know.
I don't mean to interrupt, but the funny thing is, usually when you see a guy talking like that, that's for show, right? They probably figured this guy's out of his friggin' mind, but he's for real. Like, I know.
I was joking. So they even admitted it, David, because Mr. Feldman came to me, and he said this on the air. That's the only reason I'm going to quote him, is that he said, do you remember what I said to you at the tryouts? And most guys who come in all loud and brash, they can't really fight. But Zach Calmus is different. And he said that on BKFC radio, and that really made my day because I am different. I talk the talk, I'll get in your face, I'll talk you down, but I'll walk you down too and beat your ass, drag you down the hallway, and give you a swirly too. Not like, no joking. Like I talk it and I talk it like I walk it. Walk it like I talk it. Like I really will bash somebody and go to prison right now. So
allegedly. So anyway, so you had to try out. And how does the tryouts work? I mean, which I think is genius, by the way, that this promotion does the tryouts, and I've seen it all over. Love to host one at Champs one day. That would be kind of dope. But anyway, so when was your first bout with them? My
first bout with Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship was in Boutwell Auditorium, and that was in Alabama. Bam-Balam. It was great. I fought down in Alabama, and that was 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
That was 3+ years ago now. 2.5, 2 3/4. I went down to Boutwell Auditorium, and at first I was supposed to fight Frank Tate, and he's a huge monster. He got moved to the main event. He's from Alabama, so they ended up giving me Mr. Kleckler, and Kleckler's a beast, and he pulled his hamstring that week. So they said, would you fight Bobo O'Bannon? Bobo had like 30-something pro boxing matches.
Yeah.
And I was really going to the deep end. And I was like, oh yeah, on a week notice, I'll fight Bobo, no problem. So I showed up, I fought Bobo Bannon, he knocked 2 teeth out of my head, and I just kept fighting. I got knocked down like 4 times, crimson mask. And the doctor stepped in and stopped it because he needed to stop the fight. I was bleeding too much. And the crowd went crazy, though. The crowd went nuts, and I didn't know what was going on. I was pretty embarrassed by how I fought. And I got fight of the night. We got fight of the night and ended up getting a bonus, and that was incredible.
Well, that's how you start. I mean, we talked about first impressions are everything, right? You at the tryout, your first fight with BKFC. It's almost like when Diamond Hands here went to the East Coast League and his first shift, first impression, lays a guy out, had a big fight. People don't understand, like, you truly, like, that's one of the most cliche sayings, but it's so true. You get one shot at a first impression.
Yeah.
And they probably, their eyes, like cartoons, that first fight of yours, they were like, we got a star here.
It got 1 million+ views on YouTube, and it really became a real sport, a fight that helped the sport reach this level of popularity.
Let me...
What do you, some of like the stuff, I'd say from the outside looking in, you know, it's called bare knuckle boxing. I feel like everybody just looks at it like it's boxing. Tell us about the differences, because I've done a couple, like there's a specific BK class at the gym I train at. There's guys are starting to train specifically for bare knuckle now, and it is very different in some ways, but obviously similar in a lot of ways as well. But tell us what you think, like the main differences you notice when you're fighting in a bare knuckle fight compared to boxing. Obviously, your fighting style is your fighting style, probably similar because you fight a certain way. But what are the main differences that you notice?
Well, one thing that stands out is that it's bare knuckle, obviously.
Of course,
it's a stiff punch. It's a lot stiffer than any type of glove. Even a 4-ounce MMA glove doesn't compare to a bare knuckle. Cuts happen a lot easier, and it doesn't have anything to do with power. You can get cut the same way from a jab as you can from a right hook or an overhand. So a lot of guys that are looking for knockouts are getting them and not getting them. So it's just bare knuckle. You really have to be ready for anything and everything. Some guys just come out and swing as hard as they physically can, they look like they don't know how to fight, but that's how they fight. They're trained to take punches and land punches, and they do not care if you break their nose or knock their teeth out. They're gonna take it and give you until they die, until they go out.
Do you think, like, I think BK's done a great job at matchmaking and just the way they've. I feel like they don't want, like, they're not, if you back up, you're probably not coming back. Like, that's like just kind of, well, maybe not necessarily, but I feel like the fighters they have, they want action. It seems like pressure. Is that just because the way the sport is, or is that more of like the promotions looking for it, so everybody's trying to be
both? I mean, it's an awesome question, and I love the way you put it. I think that I know for a fact that BKFC wants the fighters. They're going to bring the noise. They're going to bring the aggression. Are going to get the fans in the seats. So to get fans to buy tickets and to go to the shows, you have to be exciting. If you're not exciting, you're probably not going to come back, and you're wasting Mr. Feldman's time. You're wasting Conor McGregor's time, and you're wasting valuable assets that could be used on other fighters to bring the whole industry up. So looking at it from that standpoint, I've done things that have set me apart from other fighters. It's not just the mask. It's not just the shorts. I don't care. You could be as pretty as you want. If you can't fight, you don't belong there. You're wasting the fans' money. It's wolf dollars. And don't do that to the fans, because they deserve more. These people work hard to support their families and to bring their kids and their wives out to Mohegan Sun. It costs a lot of money for a weekend at Mohegan. And they deserve everything that I give them. And I think a lot of guys are doing that. More guys than not are giving them everything they pay for. So I think that's why we're on top, you know?
I agree. And honestly, again, I've been so, not shocked, but just I cannot believe how the sport's taken off. And a credit to Mr. Feldman, who's obviously doing a hell of a job and you know, bringing in Conor McGregor as, you know, ownership stake. I mean, it's but you are almost like one of the day one guys, man. You know, it's and again, we talked about it. You're top 5 in the world at your weight class. Okay, I see you've kind of trimmed out a little bit from the last time I saw you. You're in shape, man, and I'm telling you, dude, what do you want next for BKFC? Like, what's next for you?
I really want the world title. That's what I want. I want to win the world title and bring it home to Boston. That's what I'm living for at this point. So when you're living for something rather than living to do something, you approach it completely different. So
Zach, I get people that ask me all the time at Ames. I'd like you to answer this too after Sharky over here. I'm gonna call you Sharky. Shark Attack.
I like that.
What? People just don't. People ask all the time, like, why do you fight? What is it inside you? I mean, maybe it's something unexplainable, but why fight? Why is it? Because people watch this and they say, well, why would they do this? Why? And I deal with people all the time. I get backlash. I throw a lot of boxing shows, and why are you promoting this? Why do you, like, what's your why, bro? Like, what is it that gets you up ready to do this, man?
Y'all are going to feel this. Ready? How many guys do you know that walk around from the point that they wake up in the morning to the point that they go to bed that night, and they have feelings of anger, frustration, resentment, whatever, jealousy, all negative feelings, but they can't do anything about it. They have no release. They have nothing. All they have is their job. That may be all right, but it's just a job. Everybody has one or should have one. Then they go home to their family that appreciates them on the level that they've worked for, which isn't great. I mean, let's be honest. You're a furniture salesman. You go home, your wife makes the dinner and gets the kids ready. What do you expect? She's not going to treat you like King Tut. You're not doing anything that great. You're flipping mattresses. So I think it's when I see the normal man who is a good man. He might be a great man, but going through the tundrum of the everyday today, that makes me sick. And I can't imagine myself in that position. So it really, really, like, it's, you know, I'd rather be dead than be like that. So I'm working hard as I possibly can to stay alive and stay doing what I'm doing, because I truly love it. Bare knuckle is the reason why I wake up every day.
Amesy, for you as an enforcer, and you're more than just an enforcer, let's face it, but on a hockey team, we know part of the reason you fight is, you know, the game dictates that. Maybe someone takes your goalie out. You know, there's reasons, but you as a person, because you're a fighter, okay? Sure. This guy, you know, Zach, you know, Amesy, any type of combat sport, he's sending me. There's so many combat sports. There's combat sports that come out of nowhere, and he'll send me a clip on Instagram. He's like, I gotta get involved with this. I gotta do this.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I know you're on it every day.
Yeah, he's a fighter, man. Like, what is it for you, man? Like, is it just like I said? Like, some people just they ask, like, why do it? Like,
it's just like, I don't know. I'm sure Zach feels the same way. It's like, I guess, like being like a little bit of a thrill seeker in a sense. Like, I love I don't really love the fear of it, because sometimes you feel the fear or whatever, and that's not really, but I love overcoming it.
Yeah.
That feeling I get after I get through it and I survive, and I'm like, win or lose, I'm like, I'm here, I'm alive. I'm definitely alive, because I just felt the craziest emotions. It's a fight. It's not even so much who I'm fighting physically in front of me. It's who I'm fighting inside and what's going on inside of me. And I just think like that gratitude and that just like the feeling I get after it's not, there's, I don't want to say nothing else gives it to me the same, but like there's really nothing like it. But facing the ultimate fear and then making it through it, and then the whole experience of like having people like that are entertained by it, and so I'm like now entertaining these people. They're watching me succeed in my survival, and then it's just like primal. I just think that like, man, I don't know. It's just so. Oh, it's an addiction essentially. It becomes this thing where you get a taste of it and you're like, oh man, I want more of that. So I want more of that, and forget about even the crowd. Like even when me and Zach were sparring the other day, like I know he was having as much fun as me. Like, you know, sparring, you're always getting working, but it generally ramps up as you get a little bit more comfortable with each other. Yeah. I mean, the last round of me and Zach, we were having
pay-per-view.
We were having, but it wasn't like, we're not trying to knock each other out, but at the same time, we were laughing and hugging we hung out for the next 4 hours after that. And
isn't it like the stars aligning when you got two guys such as yourself that connect for sparring? It's not like... There's something that is like this,
so fun,
this connection. It makes it so much, the experience that much better. And I mean, you know, people watching it like, oh my God, this is like, you know, this is like watching DAZN right now. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Well, you know, the thing about fighting, different than any other sport, is that if you're a fighter and you can't admit the simple fact that you like hurting people, then you shouldn't be in my game. You shouldn't be in my ring. You shouldn't be in the ring with me, because I'm trying to hurt you. I'm not just trying to win. I'm trying to hurt you, to kill you, to make sure you don't wake up tomorrow. I'm going to make sure you hurt way more than me. And if that's not your goal, to hurt or kill the opponent, you shouldn't even be in the ring.
Zach, what do you fear, man?
Nothing. Because when it's over, man. And that's only God knows that. So, like, why walk around with an umbrella on a sunny day? You know, I'm not afraid of anybody. If somebody's going to beat me up, I've been beat up before. You know, it's whatever. Whatever.
That's deep, man. It is, and it's true. Aside from winning the heavyweight championship, which I believe you will, what goals you have, man? Like, what goals, like, aside from winning that?
Really want to hurt these guys. Pain. I want to bring pain to the doorsteps. I want them to know that they just got hurt.
How important, and I think for all of us, me and Ames talk about this a lot. I know how important it is to me. Legacy is so important to me. Money is important. I think we all love money, but it's so weird, when I tell people my legacy means so much to me, now that I have a son. I need to know that if I walk outside tomorrow and a piano fell on my head, people are going to go and tell my son stuff about me, good things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what it is, right? Because at the end of the day, all we're going to have when it's all over, when we're old, hopefully we're all make it old.
Hopefully I got a chair and a television.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, I always had visions, even as a young kid, and no, it sounds weird, right? I always visioned me being in a rocking chair, old man, grandkids around me telling stories. Yeah. At the end of the day, man, isn't that what we're going to end up with, is these memories, these stories?
I'm going to end up with less, to be honest with you. Me, I know that I'm going to end up in a nursing home on a breathing ventilator. Hunched over telling some hot nurse about my fighting days. But you know what? I'm cool with that. Because I'm going to have every flavor of ice cream and the money to buy it.
I think at the end of the day, like you said it, like, I mean, especially like legacy, I feel like that's just like an unspoken thing that every man has in the back of their mind, like whether people are saying it or want to admit it. I think, like, at the end of the day, we're all going to be dead one day. Yeah. And, most people are forgotten within a few generations. Even if you do the greatest things,
dust to dust, buddy.
It's really like at some point you're going to be forgotten. So it's kind of like, how can we leave the biggest impact and have people remember me for the positive things? Yeah,
to live good while you're here.
Yes, yes.
Well,
exactly.
I think the one thing I'll respectfully disagree is I don't think in this generation people our ages are thinking about legacy.
About that? Yeah.
I think guys are thinking, how do I go viral right now and make $10,000 on this post?
Yeah.
Everything that, and I know Ames is the same way, I know I'm very strategic, is legacy. It's timeless stuff, right? It's like stuff that you did, Ames. Your first game in Fort Wayne will live on in Fort Wayne Comet history forever. No matter what anyone says, his first game in the East Coast Hockey League with the Fort Wayne Comets. The Fort Wayne Comets will be here 50 years from now, hopefully, right? They will be talking about that game. That's legacy. That's timeless. Your first fight, Crimson Mask, fighting to the point where they had to drag you out. You would kept fighting. That's legacy. It's not money. And I tell people this all the time. Don't get me wrong. We all want to make money. We all want to live comfortable. But I think when you're a dog, and I think in all of our ways, we're dogs in different ways, the money... I think we need the hunt. You need the chase, right? I mean, the minute you're full,
the kill isn't it? The kill is, it's not the kill. It's the chase.
It's
Everybody
the chase,
knows,
man.
like, you think, I say this to people all the time, man. Like, you look at a lion ain't gonna go eat a dead animal. No. A lion ain't gonna eat a dead animal. No. If you ever see the video of that lion creeping up on that dog and the dog's sleeping, and the lion's just like breathing right over the dog.
Yeah, wake up, wake up,
wake up! I need the chase. It gets the blood flowing. All of a sudden, the dopamine's going, the adrenaline's dumping. Like they want that buzz, right? You need the chase, man. Everybody knows that.
Zach, I got a question, and I've dealt with this. My role in the fight game is I do promotion, advising, I guess you want to call it, whatever. One thing I've noticed for a fighter, not saying you're at this point, obviously, you got a long way to go, same with Amesy, is for a fighter, do you trust yourself to know when it's over, your career? When that time comes, and it's not now, I'm saying when that time comes down the line, after you win a title, this and that, how does a fighter know it's over? Or do they know it's over?
When he dies. Your fight is never over. I mean, really, why do you see so many 60-year-old, 70-year-old warriors in the gym, old artifacts still in there pounding the bag? Because it's really not over, and they still go out. 8, 9 at night getting fights in neighborhoods that they used to go to when they were, in the 30s, but they're now 70 or 80. I know dudes who are still going out and getting in fights in old neighborhoods they used to hang out in. It's like, brother, you're gonna get shot.
How does a fighter? But how important is it to have someone in your corner? And you may get mad at him. I only in 14 years almost of being involved with combat sports, I only had to sit a guy one time, and it was one of the hardest things I ever in my life had to do. And look at him and be like, "Listen, man, I really think it's over. I think we should think, how do we transition to that next stage of your career? Because I'm not going in the ring, right? I don't need blood money. I don't need to keep sending you out. I can't, me personally, and I might be a unicorn in this game, because I can't personally live with that, knowing I'm going to keep sending a guy out that shouldn't be. So many people ask me, like, how do you know when to tell a fighter, hey, you know what? But you can't tell them that.
The dog wants to bleed, let him bleed. I think that way. Listen, I'll send a guy out to get killed every fucking time, because that's what soldier's job is.
Would you be mad at someone close to you a couple years from now if they had to sit you down and be like, hey, Zach?
Let them sit me down. Who's going to sit me down?
I love you, brother. I love you, brother. And it's one of those things where I think in this combat sport genre, right, it's not just boxing anymore. It's MMA, it's bare knuckle, it's all this. What hurts me to be in the business is I almost care too much, sometimes more than the fighter, because you guys will go out on your shield. You know, but it's hard to look a guy, and I've done it. It's hard to look a guy and be like, how can I help you transition? Because
a lot of guys don't want to.
I know.
Yeah.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, it's just one of those things. It's like, as a fighter, like, you're a fighter for a reason. Like, it's in you, right? And like, I think it's a very important thing, like, as a fighter, especially if you're like, hey, maybe I'm done pro, right?
Yeah.
I think it's important to stay in the gym. I think it's important to keep active. I think it's important to know you still got it, maybe move around a little bit. But I think at the time, like, I know that for me, like, I try and be pretty aware, like, you know how I am with like everything. I try and be very conscious of how my body feels, and my timeline always pushes. I say, hey, this is how many years I got, and then it refreshes. I'm like, you know what? I got 5 more. I got 5 more. You have
to do it differently as you get older.
Yeah, of course. But like, what I'm saying is, like, I think what it comes down to, like, I think at the end of the day, with a lot of people in that situation, it'll come down to having people that love you around you, that are going to be the ones that try and say something.
Yeah.
Probably most of the time isn't going to be received super well.
Yeah.
But for me personally, with my family and stuff like that, like, it's a conversation that I'm open to have, because like, I feel like with my situation, like, I have to make sure I'm sharp. Like, I can't, like, you see some guys go out pretty rough, man, and you don't want to see that. Like, but some guys go out some guys go out great, and they have late careers. They fight into like 40 years old, still fighting, and they still look good. They still sound good. They're still sharp.
Look at Stevie Vukosa. He just fought a 10-rounder at Low Memorial last year versus 7 foot, 305 pound man. Yeah. He went 10 rounds. He looked like a young buck. And he's 48.
Yeah. I think honestly, at the end of the day, we have to be honest with ourselves, though. As fighters, we have to really just look at ourselves in the mirrors at times and just assess the situation. How do I really feel? Yeah, because that's hard to do. It's hard because the ego is going to tell you, nah, man, I'm going to fight till I'm dead.
I sold my motorcycle beginning of the winter. I got rid of it, right? In the fall. You know why? Because it's not safe.
Yeah.
BKFC fighter just died on his bike.
That's terrible.
Poor guy died. He was at my tryout.
Yeah.
It's
funny because, like, you say that. Oh, sorry, no, it's not funny. Rest in peace. I'm sorry that's sad.
Happens,
obviously, but what I'm saying is funny about the scenario is, you talk to someone, how crazy does that sound? He's like, I just sold my motorcycle, but it's because it's dangerous. And then this motherfucker's going into the ring fighting bare knuckle against the savages, dude. Like, how crazy is that? I just sold my motorcycle, man. It's dangerous. It's like, bro, what are you saying, man?
Calculated risk.
It's dangerous. What are you talking about? But I get it, man. My brain works the same way, man. I got rid of my bike. I had a great summer, and I survived the summer. That's the way I thought. I'm like, man, that was the best summer of my life. I got rid of my bike. I'm like, shit, I made it. I had a great summer. I'll get a bike again at some point, But at the end of the day, man, like,
I want to
dude, I'll tell you one place I would never own a motorcycle, and it would be in the Northeast. And I'm sorry, but the drivers around here are nuts.
Yeah.
They are nuts. This guy, man.
My car's not dented.
No, man. I just Northeast wouldn't be the place. If I'm living somewhere a little quieter, where where I come from, like Canada, there's not that many people. You can get on a bike and go on a ride in the mountains, and you see 5 cars the whole ride.
Yeah, I smashed 2 old guys on the
You do
road
that around
last
here,
week.
bro. You're gonna get some guy's gonna give you a pit maneuver while he's honking at you. Get the fuck out of my way.
I'm looking at you, Zach, and I know you're a wrestling fan like me.
Oh yeah.
And Amesy, and I'm a huge wrestling fan. And I'm looking at you, and something just clicked in my head, and I realized we've already spoken about this. But you look just like Mick Foley.
Yeah. But I'm in better shape, man. He's got a big old booty,
Mr. Sacco.
big old stomach. You know what I mean? So like when people tell me that, like I can see the resemblance from here up.
Cactus Jack.
I think
Cactus Jack.
I think
my butt
Cactus
is
Zach.
Cactus Zach. Yo, that's sick.
Listen,
Man.
Cactus Zach.
Cactus Zach, the Shark Attack.
Cactus Zach, the Shark Attack.
Listen,
I was
man.
thinking about going with just Shark Attack because I'm already a personality.
Cactus Zach.
I'm big on rhyming, so Shark Attack Zach is good. But
Yeah.
Cactus Zach, the Shark Attack.
That's unreal.
Could you go out to your next? First of all, I think we have to hit him up with a trasher outfit for his next fight.
Oh yeah, I got the jersey at home.
But I
Wear
think
that.
we got to figure out a Cactus Jack or like a Mankind. Remember Mankind?
Oh,
Mick
yeah,
Foley?
yeah, absolutely.
Dude Love.
Mr. Sacco.
You have
Yeah.
like Mr.
I
Sacco.
got the personality, baby. And I know the WWE wants a piece of my ass. But the problem is, I like hurting these guys for real. I really like knocking their teeth out and bloody in their face and looking at them when they fall on their face and they look up at me. Oh my God, he was tougher than I thought. Yeah, motherfucker. Fuck you.
Would you ever go out with Mr. Sacco in an entrance one day?
yeah, definitely.
That'd be a good
That'll
one.
be hilarious. People will go crazy. They love.
You gotta wear
I
the
get that,
sleeveless.
like,
the sleeveless vest?
sleeveless Mac jacket.
I can't go to a
right.
show without getting compared to Mankind. It happens 10, 20 times.
The Mankind mask would be elite for you. I mean, we have like his next 5 entrances out. We got
Yeah, we gotta
Cactus,
find out.
Cactus Zach.
Cactus Zach.
Cactus
Okay,
Zach,
I
Shark
love
Attack.
it, man.
I
Listen,
want to do some real wrestling. They need to get at me. Someone told me that, hey, WWE could just go try out. And if they like you,
That was
they'll
me.
go grab you.
Yeah.
That was me. I
that.
told you to sign. I said, man, get on the website. I
was
sent it to
shocked.
AJ the other day.
NXT.
AJ's like, this guy. I guarantee it. I said this to AJ. AJ's probably
Nah,
another
man, I
one.
can see it.
Another one.
Could
I
be
got the
intense.
moves too.
Yeah.
I can do front flip off the ropes.
Yeah, let's
I can
go.
do a frog splash.
Yeah.
I'm a big man that can move really well.
Let's do it.
all right,
You know what I mean?
all right, Mr. Wrestler. Let's test you. Let's put you to a test. This is like a pop quiz, all
pop
right?
quiz. No,
I want you to
I'll do
look
that.
at the camera right there. You have a fight on June 15th, I believe. Real Boxing in Tampa, right?
Yes,
I don't
sir.
want to say Real Boxing. as if-
Boxing, whoa,
you
whoa,
know what I
whoa.
meant. You know what I
Whoa,
meant.
you're gonna take
It's a
that?
4-round slugfest, baby.
All right, so get on the mic and get close to the mic and look at the camera right there in front of you.
looking at me.
All right, and tell who's your opponent. Do you know who you're fighting
I
yet?
don't even know the schmuck's name,
All right, so let's just pretend his name is Schmuck Jones. You tell
Schmuck Jones, I'm coming for you, baby. And when my 747 takes up out of Boston, flying high like an eagle, I'm a touchdown like a helicopter. Pronto, via pronto, baby. We coming out. Boom, 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 boom. Switch grenades, switch power. You ain't ready for this, Tampa. It's gonna be on fire.
Well, there you go, man. I'm ready.
Come on.
Let's
Sign
go.
me up.
Cactus Zach, the Shark
Cactus
Attack.
Zach.
Cactus Zach got the chicken dinner in the knapsack, baby. It still won't.
Listen,
go.
I don't know what else. I don't know how we even top that segment right there. But Amesy, real quick, before we kind of log off here, I mean, Zach, it was an absolute honor. I don't think it's going to be the last time you're here with us. We got to have you. Got to have you more. Got to follow what's going on. Amesy, you got to fight again. I know we talked about it last week, okay? In July, Nashville. Getting ready, man. These two are getting ready with each other.
We're getting ready for war. Me and Amesbury, we're going to bring tons of glory to Danbury and just make sure that we do a great job for AJ and the Trashers. We're going to smash everybody. We're going to smash everybody.
Straight to the gym.
Listen.
That's right.
Right after we record this, we are going to go right to Champs, and you two are going to strap on the
looking at you. You're
16s.
so
and then
handsome. I'm salivating over here and sweating at the same time. That's why it smells like an onion in here. It's not you guys. It's me.
Hey, listen, guys, this is one of my favorite episodes we ever had. Zach, it was an absolute honor, man, to have you. This won't be the last time. Listen, guys, follow. We're going to put in our description. Make sure you're following Zach on all his socials.
You just trying to get away because of my body odors. I'm telling you.
No. Listen, guys, like, subscribe, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Really appreciate you guys' support. Go back, check out the old episodes. Follow our boy Zach. Follow Mr. Diamond Hands. We'll see you guys next week.